Hello, Charlie Barley back at you again with another live team play tutorial demonstration. This is on liveroulette.ie. I'm going to be demonstrating how I play the live team play session. Basically, what I do is I do an analytics based upon the pattern of numbers. I used to do red and black, but now I'm actually doing numbers. And so with that, I pretty much predict numbers within a range of 6, and but when we play as a team, we normally play in the dozens. Forgive me in advance for talking during the entire session, because the reason that I do all the talking is because we don't play every spin. You shouldn't there are systems that I have that you can play every spin, but this one I've analyzed it very, very well, and the best way to play it to eliminate the game. The game normally flows in certain patterns, and oh, by the way, we're gonna put money on dozens too. I'm looking between 16 and 21. Sometimes I'm right on the first progression. Sometimes it takes us 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 progressions. Just depends. But remember, we're playing dozens, which is a 2-to-1 disadvantage. It's a 2-to-1 advantage for your progressions because you don't have to make double the progression like you would a normal martingale, like a 50% thing, 50-50, where you go 5, 10, 20, 40, that type of a thing. You can actually get up to 12 progressions for under $400, actually. And technically, you don't have to play all the progressions. You can allow the game to progress, give you 2 or 3 progressions to extend your progression cycle to as much as 16 or 20. Only thing you have to do is have patience. And the thing about it is that the anomalies that I search for, they normally come up between 2 and 15 times a game or a session, which is about an hour long. Okay. All right. So where are we? Number 1. So in this case, let me document this. All right, so we're going to, because of that 1, we're going to make another bet on this, but my new algorithm will show me between 19 and 24, but we're still in dozens too. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so forgive me for the talking, but and I had a wise man once told me, sometimes when it concerns your money, too much information is better than no information. You guys, it seems like a lot of people want to be sold. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to show you and prove to you, and then let you make a rational decision. Because the last thing that I need on my team is people who are just in it. I mean, I'm in it for the money. But you've got to think a little bit, and people who don't want to read or listen, those are very unruly people after a while. So you can keep all of that. All right, so where are we in the game? We won, and we won on 16. I was predicting 19 through 24, but it's all good. That's the reason why we do dozens, because sometimes I'm not exactly right. But in the end, we win. It's the most important thing about it, right? Right. All right. So, but yeah, a lot of people don't want to listen. They don't want to read. They don't want to do anything. They just want someone to say, hey, I got a winning system. You're going to never lose. And they give you no theory. They give you no science. They give you no mathematics on any of it. And you guys spend thousands of dollars for it. See, it's really as good as some of the stuff I have now. If I were to try and sell it like that, I probably could, because some people fall for that. I'm here to tell you to challenge it. Challenge it. Challenge it. If this, my biggest theory hinges upon the most consistent pattern that has ever been recorded in the game. I mean, I'm sure there's other recordings, but the one that is very noticeable are the colors. It's really difficult to notice anything else beyond that because the colors just stick out, or no one wants to sit and think about long enough, what could potentially come up in terms of a pattern as it concerns numbers. These numbers, the way that they look on the board are not the way that they're on the wheel. So when I say 1 through 6, we're not talking this is just the range. It doesn't, so a lot of people thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's not a consecutive issue more so than it is a numbers issue. It doesn't really matter. You can choose 1, 8, 15, or whatever. It doesn't really matter because they're all spread across the board kind of separately and differently. But what happens is this group of numbers, I'll study that, or I'll see an anomaly with that, or I see an anomaly with this one or that one or that one. And that's the ones we go after based upon what's happening on the board currently. That's it. And the most progressions I've ever seen, and I always say it, I'm way over 10,000 spins. Dozens won, by the way. We didn't bet it, but we probably could have bet dozens won. So if it ends up hitting, just know that this is one we could have taken. But let's see. All right, cool. So we would have lost that one. All right, so let's okay, so that was an 18. Yeah, let's go for it. All right, so dozens won, and technically in, let's see, 16. Take between the 4 and 9 area for now. If I were betting on an actual sit down game, I normally will play on the inside because it's a longer game. It's a longer game, but it pays more. I put it that way. It's a much longer game, and the thing is that you can make $100 to $200 quite easily, actually, playing a team play, an hour playing team play, if just you have patience. If you have some patience, allow the game to give you the game. The anomalies come up enough where you can have patience, and even if you didn't have patience, you still have up to 12 real play progressions or more if your money extends that long. But you don't even have to really do that. The only thing you really have to do is have patience in this game to win. All right, so let's continue to move. I'm gonna make a couple. So it's 14. All right, so this will be our second progression. Don't want you to pay so much attention to the money I'm playing versus versus kind of what I'm doing here. Oh, that's still. How do you do a? Okay. All right, I was trying to do a street bet with that. Sorry. All right, that's normally. I mean, I don't really do streets, but technically, that's how you would do it. Like if I were playing this based upon prediction. I hate to use the word prediction because it's really not prediction. It's prediction because there's sometimes I'm not right, and then we have to make progressions. There's a pro in it somewhere. Permutations pro. But anyway, so predictions, predictions rather, not pro. Predictions. So in the prediction, I normally would do a street bet or I just play the individual numbers. So let's see, where are we? 30. Okay, yeah, we should be coming soon. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so just gonna do that. All right, so this would be our third progression in the we would change it actually between 4 and 9, but this would be our third progression still in dozens one. Generally, I stay in the first thing I see unless something changes. Say, for example, based upon how I understand patterns, if the spin before this one was in the second dozens, or say like 1921, then I probably would have stayed. But because it shifted again, I'm moving again. But it's generally within this range. It's so weird how the way I see it on the board is so different than how it's laying on the table. It's not weird. I mean, it's obviously different, but the way that I actually do calculation, I guess that's the weird part. Really interesting to me. Actually, it's kind of fascinating. All right, zero. So we don't play zeros, by the way. I mean, you can, but there's really no use because you already have an overwhelming level of exposure. So you have all of this exposed, but then you cover the 0, you may as well cover 20. Uh, so just don't think of it. Don't think of it that way. All right. All right. So basically, we lost the last 3 progressions. Right. Okay. So generally, when that happens, if I ever lose like the first 3 or first 4, this is what I mean by having patience. Meaning, if you didn't play those 4, when we start to rebet again, your minimum progression could be much higher. I mean, your minimum amount could be much higher because you're already 4 progressions in without having to pay for it. That's the reason I say the game is going to produce some anomalies up front that we don't have to play. But even if we do play them, you'll notice that we'll win within 12 progressions. That's what I'm saying. But you can make more money being patient and just waiting for the game to give you a few progressions up front. In the team play sessions, I just tell you exactly what those are going to be, and you just play it. All right. So, but yeah. So anytime I generally lose 3 or 4, it only means that the game is in a new cycle. It's in a cycle that I did not predict the first time. However, we'd still go back to the same numbers or the same column when we start to rebet, because generally, if the numbers stay consistent, which seems like they generally fall back to where we want them. However, there are times where in the middle of a progression, we may shift from, say, dozens 1 to a dozens 3. It just depends on the flow of the game. If you pay attention to the game, you'll notice that the game produces patterns. Everything produces patterns. Everything. That's the concept of creating algorithms. The ideology of physics. There are a lot of shows that talks about patterns and algorithms. Netflix has a show. I think it's called The Modern Day Living of Algorithms, I think it's called. But it's on Netflix. Netflix. You can look at it. Just go to Netflix if you have it. Click on the search and just type in the word algorithm. And there is a documentary talking about algorithms. And you'll see how algorithms, permutations, is how we identify patterns. Algorithms is how we dominate it. Okay, for those who understand what that means. But that's essentially it. So an algorithm is basically the way we play. The permutation is what we see. Okay, so we use an algorithm to kind of beat or dominate the game. And the algorithm that we have stretches or can stretch quite a while. Even though our progressions are just 12, we stay within a certain place. And based upon the mood shift, I call it the mood shift, the swinging mood shift of the game. Okay, so you just have to, just kind of be cognizant of that when we're playing. Or you don't necessarily have to be me. It's my job to make sure that I'm delivering the best for you, because as a team play, you're going to make money, and I'm still looking for, again, we're still waiting. So I'm not just here to talk to you. All right, because I know a lot of people keep trolling my videos talking about, hey, why don't you just play? Well, you're not going to learn anything. Like if I'm just playing, because it takes me a moment to find it. I'm letting you know what I'm thinking and how I'm thinking while I'm searching for this. Okay, so please stop it. Oh God. But anyway, so but yeah, so that's the basis of team play, and I'm looking again for 20 to 30 people. We're climbing up there. I'm wanting more consistency. I can do these videos day in and day out. To date, the cool thing about our team play so far, we have logged in over 2,700, or maybe 24, not 27, 2,400 real life spins and 0 losses. Now, this is outside of my own stuff, my own play in and my own testing. My own testing is well over 10, but as a team, collectively, we're over 2,400 and we haven't lost a thing. 2,400 spins. Okay, we didn't play every spin, but we played a lot of them. And the thing is that we haven't lost. Okay, so this goes back to my theory of time, the time versus the capabilities of the game. Okay, so if the game can, for example, the game can produce black, black, red fairly fast because it's 1, 2, 3. But when you have an algorithm that forces the game to match or beat you over a span of certain anomalies that are already rare to the game, mathematically, like calculated mathematically rare. And I've done the math, folks. That's the reason why I'm doing these videos. Just that simple. But based upon that, there is a threshold very similarly to the threshold of red going 27 times straight. All right, so what just hit? 26. All right, so we'll move our needle between 7 and 12. And I'm going to make a bet on dozens 1. So if we were playing, I'd just tell you to put money on dozens 1. The reason why I call 7 through 12 is because I have to gauge it by that. If I gauge it by, if I gauge it by, well, you can't really gauge it by columns, number one. And so if you're ever thinking about trying to build a strategy, we're just having to play in the columns. It's not a column-based strategy or a dozens-based strategy. We're just playing there. Because if you're trying to build something around the dozens, you got to keep in mind each dozen has 12 different variables. These things repeat. Okay, so you have to really, if you really want to dig in to find out how to dominate the game, you got to do it through the numbers. It's just, that's all it is to it. All right, so we just won that. I don't know if I think I was off again. I mean, you still would have won, but I think I was off in this. All right, let me see if there is an opportunity for one more of these. Actually, I don't think it, I mean, there is, but we would have to wait. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and conclude the video. I'm not going to make this long. This is something that we do and we do all day, now starting to become every day. If you're interested in becoming a team player, the only thing you do is pay a small session fee, it's about $20, and tips. That's it. Like I said, so far, at this point, we are 0 losses, and personally, I haven't lost a single at all, period. As far as the teams, we're just at a little over 2,400, 0 losses, and it's based upon the question, why did red go 27 times? Not why 100? Why not 100? Why not 200? Why 27? That question is what led me to this, and this is the reason why I'm able to predict columns, well, predict numbers, but certainly make it easier to win in columns because it's just a bigger umbrella. All right. So with that said, if you have any questions, I'd love to be able to work for you. I'd love to be able to work for you. If you want to make $500 to $1,000 a week or more working under 20 hours, I have the winning formula. Okay, I do. And I can show you how to do this safely. All right. Like I could, well, you're seeing it, but you can even be more conservative and still win. Okay. So if you have any interest in that, permutationspro.com. Like our YouTube videos, subscribe to the page, or subscribe to Permutations Pro, because there's other stuff that I'm actually going to be developing that I won't necessarily place on YouTube, but it might be on the website. So continue to subscribe. The personal play strategies, by the way, folks, all of the stuff that's for sale, this is how I'm doing this right now came because of that. Okay, so if you want to get out of the rat race, like you're gonna be in a rat race some way, shape, or form. Either you're gonna spend your life working and then the value of your time might be $20 or whatever the case may be. But that time you don't get back is devoted to someone else. So you're going to be making a risk with your time anyway. The question is, how big of or how better of a gamble will you make with your life? You're going to win or you're going to lose. But based upon the knowledge that you have of the variables of calculating your losses, it's going to determine your win. Folks, I've always said roulette is the only game that I've ever played that I can calculate all the risk as quick as I am with this. There's nothing else I can't even do this with stocks, because even in stocks, the index goes up and down, but the variables to calculate whether it goes up and down, a lot of which we don't know. So you develop an algorithm in the stock market, but even then you still don't have a bead on what's going to make it go up or down. I mean, you may listen to someone's advice, or you might be in a preferred stock or some type of subcontract industry that you're investing in, based upon, consumer behavior and emotions at the time. Okay, that's a wise bet. But for the most part, you really don't know the calculus that makes that go up and down. You can't calculate it. With roulette, you can. Okay, this is the only reason why we're doing this. So I just wanted to give you guys that little bit, and don't want to be, again, too chatty. I just want to make sure that you guys know I'm in it to win it. I'm giving you guys all the best information that I can. If anything, I'm giving you too much information. So don't be so turned off by it. Take it, embrace it, and grow from it. If you have any questions, call us 855-PERM-PRO, PERM-PRO. Just look at it on your keypad on your phone, or you can email permutationspro@gmail.com, or you can go to the website and register for a session. They're Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. through about 11 p.m. Eastern, and they're at an hour at a time. If you want to do a private or have a session that fits or suits you better, particularly if you live overseas in Europe somewhere, I'm going to be opening up European sessions, so you can jump in those. Also, if you're playing on, say, 5 dimes, or even if you're at a casino, you can do a text session. Only thing you have to do is just text me the numbers. Try me and see. Listen, you know what you can do? You can just test me out. Join a session and just see if it, say, like, you know what? Let me see if this is not all edited or something. Let me just check it out. Check me out. Test it. Okay, I always say, test it. It's a pretty doggone good system. I'm going to continue to bring videos like this and so much more. Continue to stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing and for your attention. It is my duty, again, to play for you, because in playing for you, it actually helps me more. Okay, so my objective is your objective. We're both in it together. So if you have any questions, just hit me up. If not, take care. On to the next video. See you later.